people? Welcome to episode 32 of the podcast, A Conversation with Neil Stevens. Guys, this is just simply amazing, isn't it? We've got 2,000 views plus every week, and our lovely woke Labour MPs even watching it. Hey, I can't even give an applause button for
Can
that,
I
Neil.
say hi, Steve?
Okay. But what do you think about that, Neil?
No, I think it's very
Well,
good.
I just want to say hi.
So we're doing a momentum here. You know why we're here? We're basically out to relay what's been going on in Exeter. We jump out the box sometimes and we talk about, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, haven't we? Yeah, but we mainly about Exeter and our areas, what we're concerned in.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Neil. We've got a great group of guys here tonight. We've got the Exeter's. No, you're the Devon County Council.
Let's get it right.
What's your name? And,
Well,
where do
I
you
mean,
represent?
as I say every time, look, my name's Tony Stevens, and I'm the county councillor for St Thomas and Exwick.
Great, you lived here for all your life, awesome. And then Neil, you've got a reputation, so.
Yeah, it all depends what you
That
mean
sounds
by it.
quite bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I've lived here all my life, and I love Exeter, and I love where I live, and I love Alverton, I love Carrick, St Thomas. This is our side of the river. I couldn't live the other side of the river, but we could bring that up with our guest in a minute because he used to live this side of the river. Now he lives the other side of the river.
Take it away, Dan.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Nat Vanstone, represent Broadcliff Division or area, whatever you want to say. Looking forward to tonight's show.
Great, thank you very much. And we got Gary, who's an awesome taxi driver. Gary, did you bring your business coming tonight? Huh?
I have got some in the car.
Okay, thank you very much, Gary. So, yeah, we got a great show tonight, and just want to mention that your voice matters, okay? So, what we're talking about there, Neil, what are we talking about, actually?
Right, so we put this message out every week, and we're trying to refine it. We've got Facebook, we've got WhatsApp, the phone. We've had some failures. Well, we've stopped the phone for a minute because we got cross-wired with a gentleman who picked up the wireless in his house, and a couple of swear words went out. But if you've got any messages you want to send us tonight, I know Gary's been sending some before, but put it on Facebook. Get WhatsApp's the easiest, and then Rob can look at it. And if you've got questions, either any of us can answer your questions live on air.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Neil. Yeah, what are the, I guess you wanted to go through some talking points. What is talking points?
Well, there's quite a lot of talking points tonight. And if you want to put them in order, Rob, put them up on the screen.
Okay, we'll do so.
Okay, so we're talking about the Elections Council. I'm not going to give up. If you notice, Labour are going around the street still. They're still knocking on doors. They're really up the game, but we'll come on to that. But not mention much about the council elections. So we're going to discuss that. Credit where it's taken. You know, there's things being done by Tony and myself, and people are taking credit for it. The potholes, right. We know about the potholes. Long discussion tonight about this. I've got some ground truth. Tony and I did a meeting for an hour and a half, and we're listening, and basically what a taxi driver's experience. So Gary's rung us up, and we invited Gary on, and he's going to talk about different things in his everyday life. And back to my favourite subject, Barnfield update. The Greens are, well, what do they call that, Tony? What is when you give false information? Nat?
Giving false information?
Yeah, there's a name for it. On the propaganda,
disinformation.
Misinformation. Yeah, I think that's a good word there. Yeah. I like that one.
So we're going to explore that.
Fake news. Well, disinformation. I think I prefer that.
Right. So it's got a busy night. Or hopefully it'll flow. We hopefully sorted the sound issue out, which we still had a couple of minutes before we went on air. So I went around with some pliers and snipped all the wire cables so there shouldn't be interference. So hopefully that'll be all right. So there's a lot going on in the background, and I just want to thank everybody in the background for giving us support. Gary, what do you think of our underground bunker?
Secret underground bunker,
I think
Gary.
It's amazing.
Now, the rule is you don't tell anybody where it is.
I don't know where it's to.
Oh, that's good. I like you already, look. I like you already.
Okay, so let's get on to the first one. We're going to talk about the elections being cancelled. Right, as we all know, my opinion is they're running scared. The elections, we've spoken to Phil Bialik, which is he's a really nice man, by the way, so I'm not going to say anything bad against him. But he did have a smirky grin when we had a coffee the other day. Tony, would you say?
I can't possibly comment on that one.
Should I put the slide up there, Neil? Okay.
What, the smirky grin?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, forgot about that.
Steve Race, yeah.
So Steve Race is now barred from some of the pubs, even though he goes online saying he supports the pubs. He's finding this and that. So it's interesting to see if he would get refused in the bars around in Exeter.
The standoff are giving away a free pint to everybody going in there tonight.
Is that serious?
Free pint of tribute? Yeah, I've seen it on Facebook, and once it's gone, it's gone.
So if you want to drink, I'm on dry January in that, and I'm still doing.
And I've got to say, you're doing very well. All right.
Yeah, and people don't believe me, but I am dry January, and I'm rolling to February. All right.
Gary's
you'll
been
never
quiet
stay
on that
there.
one.
You'll never stay there.
So going back to the election, so we already know it's gone really quiet. Tony, have you noticed that? There's not much.
Yes, I don't hear much about it actually over the last week or so.
Yeah,
It's gone quiet, although obviously there are some by-elections still going on.
Well, we don't know that, Rob. Nat, have you heard much about by-elections?
Only nationally. I haven't heard any much noise locally.
Well, I'm hoping there's a few by-elections in Exeter, so they've all gone quiet. They're going out on the street. They've got potential candidates walking around saying that, smiling. They do the old camera up, walking down the street. What I do notice, so they don't seem to have many friends. They seem to be taking selfies. Is that what you call them? Nat?
Yeah.
Gary?
I think that's what it's called,
You
yeah.
got the same people every week, every day on there. Basically, it's
And we,
lucky to see and,
Well, haven't they got a life?
Perfecting the pout, isn't it?
but it'd be interesting to see what. So I think Steve Ray said that he walked over and knocked on 300 and something doors. It'd be interesting if the question was asked, why is there no election in a democratic city where we can choose to see whether we want to keep Labour or get freaking rid of Labour?
I was going to say, actually, how many of those people told him in not too many terms to go away? But I don't think he'll actually put that down on his piece of paper.
And Rob, you need to switch on and switch the camera when somebody's talking.
okay.
All right?
Yeah, see?
I'm not the
Well, it's
prettiest
too late
man in the
now,
room.
It's too late.
It's all about you. Okay.
It's all about us.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what's happened about the elections, and then we'll talk about keeping it in the sequence, what we've been doing in this area.
And Gary, I was going to say you can join in if you want.
Right. So we've talked about the elections. What's been happening this week in my area is I've had a meeting yesterday in the evening with the Alfreton Forum group. That went on for quite some time. We discussed about potholes, which we'll cover in a minute. We discussed about Chudley Road. By the way, the new link road from the 379, I think is fantastic. I've driven that route. I think it's safe. Tony, have you driven it yet?
I haven't, but my wife's told me it's absolutely fantastic as well. So, and she's used it a few times now.
Nat, have you done the route yet?
No, I haven't. No.
And-
not at
and-
all, no.
Gary, you know the route I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Have you driven it yet?
once.
And what's your opinion?
Brilliant.
Oh, there we
Yeah.
are. That's 3 brilliance right from the start.
So we have to keep neutral on this, but there was people who didn't agree with the route, and there was objections which you could have put in, which I guided the people to put it into the council. But to be straight talking, it was already planned, already organised 10, 14 years ago. And looking at it, right, there is a lot going on up there regarding the pavements. I said I'd put a post out. I've got a lot on. I will give everybody an update what's happening in that area. Okay, so going back to it. So, Nat, what's been happening in your area?
Oh, obviously we've had the floods, haven't we? I've had a walk around a couple of my parishes, one particularly Stoke Cannon, and sadly from there's a lot of issues there. There's a lot of people affected by it, which I'm sure nearly everybody in Devon were in some way or another. But what I noticed, which is really worrying, is nearly every gully, nearly every road gully, is full to the brim with sediment. Now that's not doesn't just happen over a short period of time. It's maintenance. It's a lack of maintenance of the drainage systems in general.
Well, you've had a lot of flooding in your area, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's affected everybody. So it's rurally and rural villages. I've even seen pictures in the middle of Exeter, places flooded, and it's just an exceptional amount of rain, which has also caused big problems. But it helps if our drainage infrastructure is clear and fit for purpose in the first place.
When you say drainage infrastructure, because I came out, I came out to your house, didn't I, last Saturday, and that young farmer was digging the gullies out. Just explain a bit more what's happening in your area.
Yeah, so ultimately, roadside ditches, if they run along a landowner's field or whatever, that's the responsibility of the landowner ultimately to keep that ditch clear. Any cut-ins from the road to the gully is the responsibility of Devon County Council. And then any drainage underneath the road is responsible by County Council, or also some can be Southwest Water. So there's a lot of people involved, and ultimately those farmers, what top boys, just they're busy enough as it is.
Yeah.
And they've spent over 2.5 hours doing it the other day.
Yeah, because when we went to, where did we go? We went to
Honiton.
That was really good, and we'll talk about that now. We might as well. So
Yeah.
Tony didn't go, but we went to Honiton to a reform branch.
Honiton Sidmouth
Honiton Sidmouth. And
branch.
didn't we? Sorry about Rob walking in front of a live camera, but Rob's trying to make sure the thing. Rob, can we get the cameras working? Okay, so it's technical issues. We are working on it. If we got any technical guys out there, please come and give us a hand. Right. So we went to the branch, the Honiton Sidmouth branch. That was brilliant.
It was.
We went up there. We spoke to everybody. What did you think, Nat?
Yeah, it was a great afternoon. The room was full. Some very, very good people there. With
Rob, can you change the cameras?
Ask a lot of questions, and I hope that we enlightened or some of them, and we answered a lot of questions that they put to us, and it was a pleasure going there, and I was honoured to be asked by James Fry, their branch chairman.
Yeah, so every branch is looking for new members. So if we can spread the word, Tony and I will talk about that in a minute about spreading the word. But Exeter, Sidmouth, we are growing, and we need more and more members. If we want to change this country, we need to be changing it from the grassroots. Reform is coming. All right, we need more volunteers, we need more members, and we need to kick this government out of power. What's your verdict, Tone?
Well, actually, it's going to be very short and say I quite agree, Neil. Yeah, I mean, we said all along, when we join Reform and do what we do, we're doing it for our grandkids. But the way things are going, I think it's for our children as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. So they've cancelled the elections here. All right, democracy in my eyes is not optional. It's what we do. It's what we need to do. Now, is there by-elections in Exeter? I don't know, but all I can see is Steve Race coming down 4 or 5 times in my neck of the woods, in Tony's neck of the woods, and get out of my neck of the woods is my neck of the woods.
Well, I was going to say come into my house and have a cup of tea, but doesn't want to knock on my door for some reason.
But it's interesting what they say on their podcast, and talking about credit, Isleworth Road, I think.
Isleworth Road, yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, Gary. Worst road in Exeter.
It is, definitely.
So, it's one of those that I brought up. And highways actually only say it's an amber road.
Yeah, but...
Which means...
Rob, can you change the camera?
Oh, it's gone. All right, so that's an amber road. So it means it's not top priority to be dealt with. And as I pointed out, if that's an amber, Gary, what is a red?
Exactly.
It's the sort of thing you would go down.
School times, it's crazy.
We'll come on to you in a minute when you have your point, yeah?
Well, one of the things when it's my turn to do my bit, so I do my bit quickly. I mean, it's the roadworks. Again, Gary being a texter, I knows this. Puddle Lane. You know, it's here whether we like it or not. It has to be done. It's gas pipe replacement. I don't like it as a car driver no more than Gary does or anybody else. I don't know what your feelings on that one is.
The thing is, they've dug it all up once last year, and now they've dug it up again to lay the gas pipes. Why couldn't they do it all together?
Because they don't know how to coordinate.
No.
You know, and
Probably.
this, like I said, is citywide. You know, I mean, this is going to go on for years.
Yeah.
We just want it out of our area and done. You know, so like I said, I do get a lot of emails about it. You know, there isn't much we can do. You know, they put these permits in and then they dig the road up. All we can say is from what the notices are. I think it's in about 3 weeks' time. They think they'll finish.
Well, I think we're going out of sequence a bit. So let's just carry on talking about, like, potholes before we come on to you, Gary. In fact, no, we'll come on to you, Gary, because I will contradict some of what you say. So, Gary, how long have you been a taxi driver?
15 years.
15 years. And you're solely in Exeter, or do you drive everywhere else?
I do all of Devon. I cover all of Devon.
So you wanted to come on the show. Can you give us a reason why you wanted to come on?
Yeah, try and sort out the potholes and the gullies that are just flooding everywhere.
Right. Interesting you say that, because I'm going to actually defend Devon County Council in a minute, which people will be saying, right, so you've been driving 15 years, and what's your clients you drive?
Mostly business people.
Okay, and so your private plate.
Private hire, yeah.
Okay, what's the difference between a private plate and...
Hackney Carriage can pick up anywhere off the street. People can only ring us and book us. We can't pick up off the street.
Right, interesting. I didn't know that. And you've been self-employed 15 years?
Yeah.
So if you don't work, you don't earn?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I know how you feel, because I'm self-employed, and if I don't work, I don't earn. Yeah, and Tony, you're self-employed. Yeah, interesting. So tell me about the potholes. So you're driving around with your potholes, right? And this is a big contentious thing in Exeter. Nat, you've had it as well.
I think everybody in Devon's got it, haven't
Yes.
they?
Yeah, from what we've been told, it's the second worst.
I've lost 2 tyres this year so far, and we're only just into February.
So you've lost 2 tires. What, just driving through the potholes?
Just hitting the potholes, and they just rip the tyres to pieces.
Not seeing them in like underwater as well. I take it.
Once they're flooded, you can't see nothing. You really can't.
But
the one at Cowley Bridge, it's probably a metre long and about 8-9 inches deep. This week alone, I've seen 5 cars pop tyres and had to pull over.
Right. Okay. I'm waiting to defend. I'm gonna let you lot.
How can you defend it then, Neil?
Well,
Go on.
no, keep Tony. Tony. Right. All right. So, right. Okay.
I'm
Let's
with
get in.
Neil on this one.
Right. Let's get into the meat of it. All right. So we've got potholes all over Exeter, and we've got potholes all over Devon. Right. So Tony and I spent an hour and a half with the top man on highways on Wednesday, I think yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. And we went in there with a list of questions, and it was to do with hotbox, how many people, who's running it, who's organising it. He was fantastic. Now, I'm going to try and convince people that I am not a lawyer. I'm not Keir Starmer. I'm not trying to defend myself. Right. First of all, it has been the second wettest winter on record since the 18th century. Is everybody aware of that? The rules are no potholes should be filled in after October until, I think, March, Tony, wasn't it April?
Well, through the winter and through the winter months.
So I'll just repeat that. The rules are no potholes to be filled in after October till the weather changes. Right. Let's strip it back even further. This is not the Labour government. This is consecutive governments. They have not invested in our infrastructure, our roads, for years and years and years. So I'm not blaming Labour. I'm blaming Labour, Conservative, Lib Dem. Whoever's been in power have not given the money. Put it in perspective. To just bring the roads up to a satisfying standard, it would cost £16 billion.
That's
in
across
Devon.
no, that's across the country.
That's the whole country. £16 billion.
Did they? I mean, if they wanted to
Right.
bring it right up to scratch in Devon, that would cost 380 million, and that's just to catch up. That's not any future
And
improvement.
it'll probably take years as well.
Right, let's go back to the potholes. No, let's go back to the funding. So, Devon County Council have got over £100 million for, for roads. This is open source knowledge, but let's try to break it down now. How much do they spend on bridges?
Go on, inform me.
No, you tell me.
How much do they spend on
But it's
bridges?
bridge
bridges,
inspections.
make
When
sure
you
it's safe.
inspect, you get rid of the overgrowth.
That's in Devon.
If a bridge has been hit, all going to be inspected. I can't remember now, but we've got
I can.
thousands of bridges.
Right. So let's just take a figure of 100 million. 12 million, 12.5 actually, to go around to make sure all these bridges are safe structurally, that there's nothing wrong with them. That is, so you take that away from your 100 million. It's a bit more than 100 million, as in the figure we get. Then anti-skid, I think it's roughly 5 to 6 million. And you go on and on and on. So it's not just potholes. And I know people are going to criticize me now, right? It's not just about potholes, right? The infrastructure has not been invested by multiple governments in the past. Right, let's look at the weather. We've already talked about the weather. This is a storm. It is one of the worst scenarios. So what happens is, if we put a line in the sand, Nat, how many times is it frozen?
What, this winter?
Yep.
Well, handful, 10 times.
Gary?
This
Tony?
I'd say about 5 or 6.
Right, it's more than that. There's a chart. The chart goes like, so if I had a flat line, every time I go down, that's where it freezes. Every time it goes up, it defrosts and down. The chart is like this all the way along. So the ground, and in between the freezing, it gets wet. Then it freezes. Then it gets wet. Remember, it's the second wettest winter. I was told this isn't the worst time they've ever done the roads. Right? Is everybody with me right now? So the factors are, the governments have not spent the money in the past. The weather is horrendous, right? And if you know how to fill a hole in properly, you need hot tar, right? There's a certain percentage of gravel's packed, bum, bum, bum. So they also do temporary fixes, Tony.
Yes.
Can you discuss about a temporary fix about the road,
Isleworth.
which they did 7? Can you explain why they only did 7?
They only did 7 for the reason now they've explained it to me, because the people who go around checking these holes to see whether or not they are a priority, they spend a lot of time in court. And the reason they're in court is for people who actually claim that they've had injuries through these potholes. So they have to go in and be questioned by solicitors. That's why they only did 7, because they have to go to other places to fill in these potholes that they deem priorities, so that they don't end up in court through people claiming that they've hit these potholes and justifiably in some cases got injured.
Right, so if we just strip that back a bit, so if there was 20 holes in one road, a gentleman or a lady will come out and inspect. There's 21 inspectors in Devon. They will go out to every time you've reported it, and they will look at that hole. They have a chart. Whether you agree with it or whether I agree with it, they have a chart. They've all done university degrees. They're experts on it, on hose. Right, but the chart, they basically tick, Nat. They tick a chart. And the first thing, what do you think they're going to look at?
It's the road
Oh.
itself.
What are they going to look at? You did it. There's a picture of you.
Well, yeah, I ain't being funny, but I've seen somebody going around spraying them before they've nearly driven off. The spray's gone, and then the guys come out, fill one of the holes, and leave the other one. Well, I've seen it. Like, who checks these people's
Right,
work?
we're coming on to that.
Who's
We're
driving around
Right.
being paid to do that?
Right. So, right, this is really
Sorry.
corny now. This is really corny. Did you measure the second hole?
They're all the same size, Neil.
Right. So what they told me was they measure the hole, depth, width, the location of the hole. Which,
That's important, the location
right,
on
so
the
it's
road.
in a tyre track. Right. If it's a real emergency, how much time before they can mend it? 2 hours if it's an emergency.
Right.
I believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
24 hours,
Yeah.
28 days, or later.
Never.
Or never.
Or never, yeah.
Right. So
As in Isleworth
let's
Road.
pick up the one in Alphington. Alphington in Ede Lane on Myrtle Close. I would put that as a red. All right, it's a red. Went out on Saturday and put a cone in there, didn't we, Tony?
We did, yeah.
Right. It's not classified as an emergency. It will be repaired in 28 days.
It's classified as an amber.
All right, because it's on a low-speed road. It's not on a major
Well, yeah,
road.
it's on a feeder road, so it's
a
not
feeder road. So
no.
what they're saying is, if there was 20 hoes, they have to make a judgment call to do the priority because they have to go somewhere else to do the priorities. If they stuck on the one road and they didn't fill all the other priorities in, they could be taken to court for an accident. All right. So I'm not defending them, but if you listen, remember why we're in this position, Nat. Why are we in this position?
Because it's not been maintained in the past.
Thank you. Hit it on the nail.
Bridges. When we talk about bridges, how many bridges has Devon got?
I don't
Quite
know.
a lot.
Hundreds, I would imagine. Thousands, if you
I
wanna
did
go
get towed,
into it.
funny enough. That's
Right.
how sad
And
I was.
I drive over our bridges, you know, out rurally. Obviously, the newer bridges in Exeter, all metal frame, blah, blah, blah. Go out rurally. We're going back to weeds again. They are being destroyed by sheer lack of non-maintenance over the years. And it's a massive issue. And in a minute, it's going to cost us 15 times more to fix the bridges than it would be to keep them maintained.
Right. If we remember going back to weeds, who stopped using weed killer? Rob, can you answer that? Because you've been doing a complete study on this, haven't you?
You've got your weeder box.
No, but can you give me an answer why
Hashtag
we've stopped
sad.
with weeds in Exeter? Exeter City blamed Devon County Council.
Well, it goes back to 2019 when the Exeter City Council voted to take away, effectively they voted to take away the weed control service by banning the chemical which the whole world uses to get rid of weeds. And they didn't have another plan. They just said, oh my gosh, we've got to get rid of the chemicals, you know. And then even though Devon County Council is responsible for the highways, which are the streets, Exeter City Council, because there are a lot of streets in Exeter, did that work under contract to Devon County Council. But yes, make a long story short, the Councillor Williams and Councillor Harvey proposed a motion which passed unanimously, believe it or not, to take away the weed control service, basically. So that's where we are.
But also, we also got to blame Devon County Council because they took the funding away as well. And so we got a combination here. We got a combination of the weather, Nat, which why we see holes everywhere. They have 52 hot boxes. A hot box is basically a team of men on a Devon County Council vehicle, which is then given to, what group is it?
I think it's called M Group.
M Group. And so 52 groups. Remember, this is the whole of Devon, so it sounds a lot. They're there. They do get checked. They're on trackers. So anybody saying they're getting backhanders and they're not doing their job right, I don't want to hear any of that. These guys are out in, the best they can do to do the job. And we met for the other day, Tone, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We met for at my favourite spot, Isleworth Road, who said, we've got 7 to do. I did say pick the 7 worst, but that was a bit of a hard one.
And Rob, you something to add to that?
Yeah, well, I was just going to ask, so basically what you're saying is we've got a problem that's been made worse by poor funding, I guess, probably mostly. So I guess probably what you're getting at is we need some funding to overcome the problem and the restoration of the funding to keep the problem.
We'll
from
come back to the
reoccurring,
funding in a
right?
minute. We'll come back to the funding.
Okay, you got
because
it.
I watched Steve Race video last night, and it was very late after the meeting. But I want to go back to Nat. Right, Nat, it's. I totally agree. They're not, the weeds is a big problem, but the big problem around you is they're not cleaning the drains out, are they, or the gullies?
Well, gullies. I mean, I walked around Stoke Cannon earlier this week, and every I didn't see one not full to the brim with sediment. Now, and then the whole village pretty much flooded. And not just that, there's culverts underneath the railway line there, and part of the culvert's blocked. This belongs to Network Rail. So it's just a mixture.
So who's responsible for them? Network Rail?
I've spoken to or tried to contact my NHO. Obviously, he's very busy. I haven't had a reply yet. This was earlier this week. So I'll go back and send the email again if I've not had a reply tonight. But I've spoken to him to be able to then maybe he can contact Network Rail
Yep.
to ask them to sort out the issue. Because this water's backing up, there's new housing been built and now it's flooding.
Right, yeah.
And just to add to that, Neil, there's a lot of discussion from some of our viewers tonight. Thank you very much. And one or two of the comments kind of focus around the fact that if you go abroad, like down to France, Spain, whatever, the roads are pristine, basically. The government can find all sorts of money to let a government, Mauritius, 1,000 miles from the Chagos Islands, billions of pounds to this government to rent back what.
Well, I
what we
think
have
that's
now.
changing now because
But
America's
the point
got
is,
involved.
we can find money for all these different new surprises, but we can't find the money to
Well, we do all
perform
this.
the basic services.
No,
that
I agree
we
with you.
should
The
have.
money can be found for. They do all this. All right, we won't go into where the money's going, but so we have got a problem, and I'm not defending Devon County Council on everything. The new hose appearing, everybody can see why. The weather. Okay.
I mean, you can see by
the
the way.
weeds, we can blame Devon County Council and Exeter City. But if I want to dig deeper, remember I keep talking about Myrtle Close, where this old gentleman's got trip hazards. I inherited that from Yvonne Atkinson. And that was, she's been trying to do it I've made a complaint now. Since I've been a councillor, nothing's happened.
Yeah, tell us who Yvonne is, Neil. if you can.
Yvonne was the Devon County Council at Labour who I took her seat. I took her seat and I
For
really...
Alfred and Cowick.
Yeah, for
your
Alfred and
division.
Cat.
Yeah.
Right, so I inherited, well, she didn't do a handover, but I inherited issues. And Jane, I'm working on it. Your elderly brother, I'm working on it. I brought it up yesterday in highways again, right, because it's going on and on and on.
Yeah.
Do you know the sad thing about this is really, and when you look at it in a slightly different way, coming at it from a different angle, over the last few years, or however many, 20 years, there's been little industrial estates popping up rurally out in different places, and I suppose highways have always had a standard that they would fix a road to, but now what you're getting is bigger vehicles, more of them on these roads. So with that in mind, would you not look at maybe upgrading your repairs? I know it's hard enough to do now, but with that in mind, to upgrade the standard of repair
Well,
would make more sense.
Yeah, going back to speaking to the top guy yesterday, and I thank him ever so much. The stuff they use, because I said that they're using
Rehashed tar.
recycled
Yeah, recycled
tar,
tar.
and he said no, everything gets tested in a lab, all right, but they are doing quick fixes, which we all know don't last. Some do last, but a lot of them don't. And another factor, electric vehicles, more vehicles, you've hit it on the nail, Nat. The housing they're building up everywhere here, are they building them to the right standard? I don't know. They must be building to the right spec because, they all get inspected.
A lot of it's the big vehicles, Neil. When there's diversions, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
All around the county, and there's massive vehicles. Farmers' tractors are getting bigger. You look at it, Arctic lorries using A roads a lot more than they used to, rather than it was just from Marsh Barton to Soughton up country.
Yeah.
There's lots of little industrial units now where these lorries have got to get to, and it's tearing the place up. All I'm saying, just an idea, if you're upgrading a pothole or repairing it, it's got to be thicker, deeper, going
Yeah,
forward.
well, this is where it comes back to you shouldn't fill potholes in after October for those 3 months because of the rain.
But you're going to have an accident. You got to, because
It
some of
has
these
to. There have to be
yeah.
temporary fixes.
you could stick a football in some of these. But before we flip off this, I think Steve Race on his Steve Race page, and I'm sure he's going to look it up tonight. He said they're going to invest £22 billion on roads. I might be wrong. I'm going to recheck it tonight. I was very late last night when I come back from a meeting. Did you read that or hear it?
What he's gonna upgrade their budget to 22
Well, I'm
billion
sure I read it
pounds?
right. 22 billion Labour
I don't
government.
think he personally is
To
going to
Exeter
do it.
or
No, for the whole
I
country.
think
the
this
whole
is a
country?
Labour policy.
Yeah, but that would
Will
sort
it
it all
be
out because we
interesting-
only needed 16
Well,
billion.
yeah, but it's interesting how much they send to Devon, won't it?
Yeah, this
Then
is. We don't know
that's
how
the
much. If and when you get it, it could be in 2029.
Yeah, but also London's all right because London roads are all done because
Yeah, they got
it's
lovely
all
roads,
getting
Gary,
spent.
as you
yeah.
well know.
Right, this is the next subject. Barnfield Road.
Oh, hey, we got
Right.
a video also, Neil, your favorite video on there if you want to play that.
Oh yeah, play the
Okay.
favourite
Yeah.
video. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't know you had this on actually.
Oh, yeah, I got all sorts of stuff on here. Yeah. No applause, though, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
He whispered it.
Might be on mute.
Better if you can't.
Okay, Neil, enough of the video anyway.
So there's no volume
what's the takeaway from that handsome man that was on that video?
Well,
huh?
handsome
He
man,
was very
yeah.
quiet.
So he was at the Haytop meeting the other day, and I think did we cover it last Thursday yet? So the Haytop meeting, and this is about the process. So the Haytop meeting or Hatop meeting on Thursday, it
You want
was
to see what it stands for?
Highways Authority. Go on.
Yeah, it stands for the Highways Authority Traffic Commission
Right, committee.
Committee.
So you've
Close,
interrupted my flow. So they wanted to change 7A, right, to a one-way system where you go in
Barnfield Roadway.
Western Way and come out Western Way, and the other one's to do with cycling Barnfield Road. Well, we heard the discussion. The officers put it to us. Simple questions were asked. I wasn't happy with the process, not about the plan. But anyway, it failed. Yes, Reform did vote against it. Yes, the two independent, and we don't even want to talk about them because they've joined another party. They voted against it, and a person in another party voted against it. They didn't vote against it because of safety, which they are publicising. It's been in Exmouth Journal. Have you read that rubbish?
I haven't. No, I've been
Right.
busy
It's
doing others.
basically saying we voted against safety. We didn't vote against safety. We voted against procedure, because if you don't get your procedure right, it affects thousands of people. Even the Dean of Exeter didn't want it. Gary, what do you think of it? Yeah, but it's safety, they're saying. We've stopped safety, so why would it be a waste of time on safety?
They've already got a little cycle route there now. One little cycle lane.
Oh, two.
And
Actually, yeah, two, one each side, haven't they? So why would they need to totally close the road?
I think if I remember right, Neil, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the dean of the cathedral,
Yeah,
really
it's-
nice man,
yeah.
say quite rightly, I think, how are the vehicles going to get in there and out of there, really? Because if they're going to get out of that area, they're going to have to go in front of the Southern Hotel, which is like pretty narrow little drive, really. So it's just for Barnfield Road to be one way, it's going to be extremely difficult for access.
well,
for
let's look at
vehicles, right?
logically. So we close that road off. So if you're going out from Barnfield Road to Heavitree, you would go that way and you go out to Pinnow. If you're going down to, I'm thinking Topsham,
Mhm.
St Thomas,
Mhm.
Alphington, you'd go through Western Way,
Hmm.
logically. Right, if you close that way off, everything is getting funneled. Now, that is the heart of a city. And, yeah, we all like to walk. We all like to cycle. But we also have to drive cars to pick up shopping, to pick up parcels. You know,
Yeah.
when my wife goes shopping, she could be carrying 5 or 6 bags.
Neil, when you say funneled, I would assume they would have to travel down in front of, you know, where the Southern Hay Hotel is.
yeah,
there,
yeah.
Yeah.
the
And they'd all
hotel.
be
which is
forced
a
out of
narrow
one
lane,
way.
They'd
which
all
is
be so.
quite very narrow, isn't
Yeah.
it, for an
It was just
18-wheeler?
bottleneck.
That's
yeah,
the word
but
bottleneck. yeah.
Right, so let's get this right, and then we've got to clear this up, right? It was the process. So when they said 51% against, 44 for it, and 5% didn't, all I did was question, can you give me the breakdown of the 51%? Because it could have been all pedestrians. It could have been all cyclists. It could have been all motorists. It could have been all workers up in there, office workers. And they couldn't do it. They said they had it, but couldn't provide it. Well, I'm good at memorizing things when it comes to facts and figures. And that's a simple question. Then I give them the blue light test. Have you tested it under the blue light? No, they haven't. Then there's a lot of things that didn't. So it was about the procedure and the process. Devon County Council officers work really, really hard, right? And it's not about what they did and what they didn't do. It's I just got to get it right. So all these greeny weenies, I call them. So I'm allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Greeny weenies. I don't care what you say. And for this greeny weenie to say there's a standard for a pavement and the pavement is only 91 centimeters, 91 centimeters width. And also they can walk on the other side, by the way. And then let's just look at the Iron Bridge. How much did they spend on the Iron Bridge? I can't remember. It's either 275 or 375. The pavement on that is 7 centimeters bigger than the 91 centimeters.
Well, as you pointed out, though, Neil.
And that's a new cycle route, pedestrian route.
As you pointed out, if you're going up Barnfield Road, there are two ways for pedestrians to go up. I mean, I normally take the wide pavement, area, which is sufficient. And frankly, I hardly ever see anybody on the pavement anyway to begin with, right?
Yeah, I just call it propaganda, and it was something he jumped on.
As I said at the time, 500 cyclists apparently use that road, Barnfield Road, but they don't all use it at the same time.
Yeah, I'm up there a lot. I mean, quite frequently, and I don't see massive cyclists really. But let me just ask you to maybe just clarify something, Neil. You said greeny weenies. I assume that you're referring to the Green Party, which is populated mostly by communists, basically.
No,
you're not talking.
Well, I
that's
don't
my
know.
No,
personal
you can't
opinion.
say that
But,
because some of the Green members are
I
friends of
assume
mine.
what you're talking about the party and not the environment, because the environment, of course, is very important to us all, right?
Well, yeah. So, the Greens, all right, let's talk. Labour councillor, I think he's a Labour, no, he's a Green councillor, sorry. Green councillor, environmental. So I asked for, how much pollution, what's the project? How much have they tested the pollution? You've got all these vehicles coming in, all right, all these vehicles in one area. And I think somebody said, well, we don't really know. We haven't tested it. All right, so you're not going to get rid of vehicles. And I don't care what anybody says. We need vehicles, right? The electric vehicles, they're heavier, right? My son had an electric vehicle. Have you heard of it?
Cars are cleaner nowadays anyway. They're always getting cleaner because they're being forced to be. But most importantly, it's about people being able to, from outside Exeter, to use the high street and support the businesses on the high street. You can't ignore those people. That they wonder why you wonder why city centres are failing.
Well, I said
access.
they were dying, and then somebody disagreed with me. They said they're not dying.
Well, I think
The
you should
reason I
walk up
said
our
they're
high
dying,
street.
I walked uptown the other day, and a lot of I'm not about the heart. I'm on about around the edges. If they what do they call them?
Was the
Barber
private
shops
private businessman in it? The people,
But if they're not
businessmen and
private
women.
shops or hairdressers
Independent,
or
the
barbers
independents.
or vape shops, a lot of them are closing down because they
So,
can't afford the
Neil,
business
back
rates.
to the Barnfield Road topic then per se, right? What is the what happened? How so? Did they have a vote on it? And
Yeah, so basically the chair was brilliant. Michael Mitchell, he's a brilliant chair. He is Lib Dem. I'm hoping across the floor, but I don't think he will. If he came across the floor, it'd be brilliant. But he ran it completely professional, like he does to all of them. And then we put it to the vote. They lost 5. They lost 5 of us to 4. So that means the project is dead. All right, yeah. We did lose money because the government pays for the E3, E9 cycle routes, and they will pay for safety. I think it was about £125,000. But also we have to put the rest, which is over 200,000 money of our money, which we haven't got, into restructuring that route. And one of the other questions I asked was, what happens if it didn't work? How do we re-put it back again?
Yeah,
There's no...
I'm a bit confused now. You flashed 2 figures, which
Right.
What
So
is-
the
what is that
government,
money
somebody
exactly?
wrote a lovely email to me and said, you've just lost the money of the grant money from the government. Yeah, we did lose the money.
And how much was that?
About 125. Don't quote me on the exact
Okay.
figures. All right, because I can't remember because I didn't look at that.
And
as
what
well.
was that grant money to do?
It's ring fence, so it can only be used for certain projects for the cycleways.
Well, that's another subject for you in a minute, Nat. So it's ring fence, E3, E9, safety routes, and all that. Okay, they can't. Well, let's look at this money. Why aren't we getting money for potholes, which can't be used for potholes? It can't be used for repairing things. It's got to be used for cycle routes, not. Well, if a cyclist goes down Ede Lane right now and he's not watching what he's doing, that pothole could either seriously injure him or kill him.
It's vanity projects, Neil. It's vanity projects that do not benefit the wider majority of people.
I mean,
And
the
I'm
real
sorry.
thing is, from what I read, is Exeter want 50% less car journeys in the near future, and
Well,
that's the whole point about it. They want everybody, like you, Gary, to ride a bike
How would you
Gary's the
carry your
expert
passenger
driver.
on your back?
on your back.
Where did?
But you know,
where
it's
did
a
you-
pipe dream.
Was that? Where was that stated, Tony? Or where did
That was
come
actually
from?
part of the Barnfield thing. If you read it enough, it would have said that part of the major thing eventually. I think it was either that or Dryden Road, that Exeter wants in the near future to be fit. They're trying to go towards 50% less car journeys. So that's their plan.
But they're building houses left, right, and center.
Well,
So what's
and,
your
and
view on
students
that,
are
Gary?
coming in
About
like crazy. So how's that going to happen?
Look at the cycle lanes, Rifford Road and Sweetbriar Lane.
Yeah, tell me more about Rifford Road, because I've had that brought up quite a lot.
Being a taxi driver, I'm down there quite a lot, and I live out there as well. I don't suppose in the last 12 months I've seen more than 10 cyclists in that cycle lane. They all use the back field.
Oh, down the bottom there.
Yeah. Well, it's actually Lovewell Fields. They
So
actually
really,
drive along
it's
there on the
pointless.
cycle path.
Or if they're near a cycle path on the road, they ride on the road still.
Yeah, they're riding the road anyway. So it's just a waste of money, that was. Sweetbriar Lane, I've never seen anybody driving that in the last year.
Isn't there one in Topson Road which people say is quite dangerous?
Yeah, there is. So again, you got to try and avoid that because cyclists just use it and just still ride in the road. And if you get close to them, they start shouting abuse at you. You got to give us
It's 2 meters.
2 meters. I'm like, if I give you 2 meters, I'm hitting the car on the opposite side of the road.
And also, I mean, I've seen it. They swerve in and out of cars.
Yeah,
and
they do.
no, you know, how can you?
Rifford
You can't
Road
just
and
see
Sweetbriar
something that
Lane was
appears.
the
I always
biggest
think
mistake.
they're our favourite, the Deliveroo drivers, because
Oh yeah.
riders. I mean, of which
But
there
Did
are
you say
quite a
we had
lot.
all these problems years ago about because everybody just got on with their job and they ride
Yeah,
a boat.
I mean,
People ride their
Rifford
bikes
Road,
and
Brathouse Lane, all the way up through to Sweetbriar. There's a cycle lane at the back of the houses. They
so.
spent
Hang on,
thousands
just
and
explain to me that.
thousands.
So you've already got a cycle lane,
Yeah,
so
it's
they
a
put
cycle
another
lane.
cycle lane.
Exactly, yeah. Which all the kids in our area all grew up learning to ride their push bikes on. They've all put nice lights on and everything. So what do? They go quarter of a mile down the road and put a cycle lane in the road, which no one's using because they've still got the one at the back of the
Which is
houses.
safe because it's
Which is
not on a
safe.
road.
Nowhere near a car. It's absolutely brilliant. But Devon County Council wanted to put cycle lanes in, and no one's using them.
Neil, you mentioned there was some other money, £200,000. Did you or something?
No. So
And what?
say the project costs £395,000. The government will contribute 125. Say the rest has got to be found by us, Devon County Council. So if they can find the money for that, where's it coming from? Yeah, we are skint. We are broke, Tony, aren't we? Nat?
Yeah, 100%.
yes.
And like I said, I'll keep saying it. Vanity projects that don't benefit the majority of people.
I mean, all of it that we've said now about being broke, it's all out there. You know, it wouldn't be hard to sort of type it in a search engine, and you'll find out exactly what the money's spent on, or not.
So it's interesting what you said there, Gary. So because I don't know you, you've just come on. So your view is, a taxi driver, you see everything going around. They're trying to stop people driving around. They've got that's interesting about the cycle route. Did you know that, Nat?
I know there's always been cycle paths and but whatnot in behind it already existing. but
Well, since I
obviously
was a kid,
not
but-
coming, not being born in Exeter, I can't say that I know exactly where they all were.
Yeah.
I've lived in Brighton, it's only 35 years.
Tina's got a comment. She says quite rightly, cycles aren't always practical because, for example, all those new houses in Alphington. Well, if you have to go to the RD&E on a bicycle and you have cancer or something like that, what are you going to?
No, it's a fair point.
You know what I mean?
It's a fair point.
I mean,
The way the council's going, I'm going to have to get rid of my car and buy a tuk-tuk
A tuk-tuk.
and get my passengers around on that.
Well, yeah, it might
so
come
Neil,
to
what's
that.
going to happen with the that 125,000 pounds?
Well, that goes back.
That just goes back, I
It's-
think.
okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's,
great.
But saying that, there's other projects. We've identified a project which, whether it would take off, I don't know. I won't go into detail. So I did try and see the lady on Wednesday, but she wasn't in office. I've also got James, Exeter Cycling. We're going to meet up. He's got some quick wins, so I'm not against cycling, by the way. All right, but I want to go do is balance the good and so everybody benefits, not pushing thousands of people out of 7A.
Okay. Hey, Neil, could we get back to the elections and give a little update on that, if you don't mind? I know you probably already covered it earlier in the podcast, but
Right.
what are the next steps? And
Right, so the next steps for us is...
what are the various parties doing?
Well, so we are keeping ourselves, we're pushing out now, all right? So we got the elections cancelled on the 19th. Nat Reform have taken them to court.
Yeah.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, only that they're challenging the decision made in court. I'm not so sure it's going to change.
It won't change.
No, you're correct.
that-
So even if we win it, Nat,
It won't change.
Thank you.
It's basically it's just to prove the fact that if they win, it's to prove the fact what they've done is illegal.
Okay, so
Or
if they won the case,
However, in a
won the
legal-
appeal, I guess it is, right? Would the elections happen in May
No.
then?
No,
No, I
No.
see.
no,
Okay.
it's just making a point that
Yeah.
they broke
it's
the
just
But-
too late now.
But on the other hand, there could be by-elections, right?
Yeah, so we're looking
what
at
have you heard?
possibly a by-election in around Alphington. It's all quiet right now, so Labour are keeping everything to their chest. But we're going to go out and it's not just about the elections. We're going to go out and speak to the people. So we got a lot planned in the next few weeks. And we are out, Nat's out, I'm out, Tony's out. We're going to be knocking on doors. Because I asked a few people, and I don't know what your opinion is, Nat. So first of all, I thought, would they want us knocking on their doors, say, Sunday afternoon about 4:00?
I personally, I don't think many people do.
Right.
Myself,
I-
that's
I-
from the people I've knocked on the door to in the past. I mean, I can't speak for everybody because the majority of people whose doors I've knocked on love to see me.
Right, so
But-
then I flick it back. If you don't knock on the doors, some people don't use social media, or a lot of people don't. They don't like leaflets through the door, but they could also say, well, we've never seen you as a Devon County councillor. So I think knocking on doors to say, and there's 5 simple questions. Are the council listening to you? Well, I know what the answer is, no. All right. No. Are your intentions to vote next year or whenever the elections? Because these elections might not go until 28, Rob, am I correct?
Yeah. Yes,
But-
and as a matter of fact, Phil, the Exeter City Council leader, sort of put a little caveat. He said, "Ooh, and if the reorganization doesn't happen in time, then the elections might not happen in 2028." So stay tuned for that. Right. But
Right.
in terms of knocking on doors, it used to be, and still is really, that you'd always knock on your neighbor door. In fact, I have several friends that have an organization in Alphington, I think it's called Connect Southwest, where they knock on doors all over the place just to do a welfare check and to see how they are. And I think it's great for if you guys are going to do that because they need to see you in person, really. That's my opinion.
So it's interesting your opinion, Gary. So if I knocked on your door without talking politics, because we're not here to change people, and that your opinion was different, no, as well.
Well, I wouldn't say no like that. I mean,
You did.
I believe that Sundays is everybody's peaceful day.
But that I
Do
just
you know what I
picked,
mean? That's
I
why,
just
that's
picked
where
a
I'm
day.
coming from.
I just picked a day.
I think at a time of an election, you go.
People
you go,
expect
you
it
go
then.
and
Yeah,
do it.
but
I
then-
think they're expecting to be knocked on.
Yeah, but then
like
it's
randomly on a Sunday. It is a peaceful. In my book,
I'm not
everybody
knocking on
likes a
your door.
peaceful. No, but everybody likes a peaceful day on a Sunday. And,
But-
and that's
but
the way
that-
I've
let's
been
put it
brought
to-
up. So that's
Let's
you
put it
won't-
to the public, guys. Give us a feedback. Would you mind us knocking on your doors and it's basically asking simple questions about what bugs you around the area? There's 5 simple questions, not to change your political view, but also to show that we are here, we are working. Labour, they just seem to be doing all these videos all the time, 4 or 5 videos, and they wear these stupid hats and.
Well,
the
do you want us to
stupid
do
grin
videos? You can ask that as well.
Okay, well,
wear
talking
stupid
about
hats.
something
Sorry.
positive, Neil, can you update us on
thought that
some
was
meetings
positive.
that you? Can you update us some meetings, sir, that you went to recently and got some good vibes? I understand.
Yeah, we discussed that. And that discussed
Yeah, it was a
it.
great day. We went to Honiton Sidmouth branch meeting in Orliscombe, kindly invited by James Fry, their branch chairman. Helen Brown, Neil, and myself went along as guest speakers. I did touch on it. The room was full, a great atmosphere.
How many people now were there?
About 50, 55.
Yeah, it was.
That's super.
Yeah, I didn't have a
And
count,
what
to be
day was
honest, but
that,
I
Nat?
thought It was a Saturday afternoon.
Okay, just
Um,
checking.
Yeah, lots of big Union Jacks hanging up in the background, wasn't there? It was an honour to go there and speak to everybody. Hopefully, enlightened a few people, answered some questions, and obviously gave a chat about ourselves as well. So.
Yeah. So when you say Union Jacks were flying, which was that the Green Party you went to?
Oh no,
A
it's
branch
definitely for
meeting?
Reform UK, Rob.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
just
and
doing a
we're
reality
doing
check.
invitation. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. You and I bounced off well.
Yeah.
We had them laughing, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you.
So if anybody wants us to come out to do why we're councillors, why we're reform, we're happy to take that up. We had a gentleman knock on my door today, Mr. May. He's coming on next week. He is so disheartened with the system. He basically knocked on my door, said, "Can I come on your podcast?" Didn't tell you that, did I?
No, you didn't. No.
Yeah.
No, we have
So-
said no swearing.
So
'cause
we
he was
invited him
quite
into the
frustrated.
secret bunker, and Mr. May, who's been self-employed, but he can tell you ins and outs. I don't want to take his glory away.
Yeah.
But let's just, before we go, because we were late starting, Keir Starmer. What's your
Who?
verdict?
Who?
Yeah.
What's your verdict, Gary?
I think he's hanging on by the skin of his teeth.
Is he going to be still there when we finish the podcast? That's
Why?
what I wanna know.
What's wrong with him? What's
Let-
happened?
let- we have to compare it. Let's compare it. So Boris Johnson, right or wrong, love him or hate him, he was basically lost his job because he drunk some beer and he had a party. Remember that Keir Starmer was caught drinking beer at a distance by the students. That went flat. Nothing happened to it. All right. And I would say this is drastically wrong.
In real life, right? In a job, if you did something wrong, you'd get a verbal warning, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Who's there to give him a verbal warning?
Well, he's the
Nobody.
top. So
Right.
This is where I think
Secondly,
the royal family should get involved.
a
I think the
written
king should
warning.
get involved.
I think they've got enough problems.
Yeah.
and
Maybe
there
a
you
little
go.
bit.
Right, so I've got to be careful, all right, because let's look at 2 scenarios. You're going to think, wait, if Putin gets replaced, he could be replaced with a really nasty general. I can tell you that. If Keir Starmer gets replaced, we could do.
Well, he could be replaced with somebody that still
Well, she
owes
could.
£40,000.
Angela Rayner.
Angela
for-
Rayner's
yeah.
looking for the talk about stabbing your own mates in the back.
Well,
yesterday.
the thing is,
I can't believe she's still there, sat back there.
no, she's being investigated by 40 grand, and she's still here.
the reality is, Labour's getting attacked on both sides because they've lost a lot of people to the Green Party, which is to the left of Labour, which
Oh
is
my
already
God,
left,
have you seen the Green Party leader?
and to the Lib Dems to the slight right of Labour. So they've got to really kowtow to the Green Party to get their votes back. So stay tuned for the next Labour leader, right?
Yeah, I will also talk next week. I'm going to jump out the box a bit about the terrorists who stand to be a
Yeah, I've heard
councillor,
that this week.
and
yeah.
I have to say that as I think it's so wrong, and that's jumping out the box, guys. So I've got to be careful because the rules are I'm not really allowed to jump out the box.
Neil,
That'll
can
be
I
another
add,
that'll be another complaint, won't we? Eh?
just like to add something, a couple positive points actually, is I want to thank Gary for reaching out to me today. I've never met Gary. Somehow he got a hold of me on Facebook, and he said he's chomping at the bit to knock on doors, actually, guys. So I'm going to call him right out of the podcast. and I went to a really amazing training session. Yes, I'm not young enough to be trained. I'm not too old to be trained. I'm still trainable. And I met 2 people there, and they said definitely they're ready to go. So anybody who's out there who wants to do some knocking on doors or send some leaflets.
Yeah, so we're looking at our area.
Yeah, exactly.
Rob, just emphasize.
West of the river. Get in touch with any one of us, really.
So he's covered
Facebook
over
is
the
an
other
easy
side of the
way,
bridge.
or email. And I want to appreciate again those.
That
3
would be a
people.
very good question, Gary.
Sorry, what was the question, Gary?
Who's covering the other side of the bridge?
Not interested. All we're interested this side the river.
Well, to be fair, we have a really great team left over from last year, and we're going to focus here. And then right after that, I'm quite sure that we're going to focus on the remainder. Really,
Yeah.
we need.
So
Well, it'd
for-
be nice if
Yeah.
there was the option to get people voted in over there, but that's
Yeah.
been taken away, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, of course it is.
So-
13 electoral positions, and it's been good. So
Okay,
can
Neil,
I
do you
just
wanna wrap
add?
it up?
Can I just say, Gary, thank you ever so much for coming on tonight, and appreciate it. Nat, you're always a legend
You're
anyway.
welcome.
Okay, you look very smart, sir.
Thank you
So-
very much.
Tony.
Yeah,
you,
I've been told to smarten up by Nat. So
No, you haven't
next
been told.
week I might be wearing a shirt and tie.
No, but
Who
remember, you
knows?
represent the
Well-
people, and I'd like to say, Robert,
Yeah.
thank you ever so much for your hard work in the background and all that.
Yeah. Thank you much, Neil. Just to add, I'm not a sound technician. In fact, I do not run the sound desk. On this desk here, I have an iPad for the slides. I have the Facebook where I'm looking at all the comments coming in. I have my little stream deck where I flash up the cameras. Hi Neil, there you are. And I have some other gadgets. I have a microphone. I have a
You have
sound-
the applause. which you cannot
roadcaster where I do the
use.
applause, which they don't want me to use. But I don't actually make things work. I'm not a technician. I just push the buttons. But yeah, I think we will be improving the sound. And anyway, thank you guys for joining. Neil, any closing thoughts?
No,
please,
just
sir?
thank everybody. We're looking for people to volunteer this side of the river. We're looking at going out very quick. You get trained up, but please, if you want to support us, we need to get rid of Labour.
Yeah. And if you want to join a reform branch, get hold of us. We can point you to the right direction of where to go, who to speak to, and how to get involved.
Fantastic.
I have literally just signed up today to
Yeah, how are you, sailor?
There you go.
pay that member now.
Gary
go.
is a convert.
Thank you very much, guys.
Respect the place that you call